Brother. How you doing? Bobby Dirkens here. Lord, I tell you, this Monday has been rough. Lord, it's like sitting down on a pine cone with a bare butt. Well, anyway, thanks for joining me. It's Bobby Dirkens. We're going to be looking into the 2020 or the 2020 Tennessee Volunteers. Before I go any farther, hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications. Guess what? Guess what? Notifies you when I put up my good stuff, which is everything I do. I mean, Lord, I could bend my butt cheeks over and fart into a mic. Be classic. But I'm glad you're here. So let's talk about Tennessee. You think about Tennessee, I still don't think about the mess that has been Tennessee. I still think about the days of Peyton Manning. I still think about the days of T. Martin, Marcus Nash, Peerless Price. I think about Al Wilson. I think about Leonard Little. I think about those names. I think about Billy Ratliff. I think about these guys, that type of player. If you're a Volunteer fan, you're watching this, I am not trashing you. I'm just going to tell you the truth. I don't think about this hee-haw that's been going on off and on, but the majority of about the past 17 years. You know, you might have a good one here every now and again, it's okay, but I have not got used to this, you know. And I have good friends like Volunteer Roadshow. You know, I know BVD. I know Garrett Sanders, also known as Smallville. I know a bunch of you out there. You're a big Tennessee fan. My brother-in-law graduated from Tennessee. I know a lot about Tennessee to not be, quote-unquote, a Tennessee fan. Okay? I'm just going to go ahead and tell you that. I am not, even though I'm not a Tennessee fan, I don't have a problem with Tennessee. I spit that out. Let's talk about this past season. Let's just kind of go over history. I don't want to bring up this name, but I'm going to bring it up because I know it is what it is. Butch Jones, how did you waste all that talent from what, 2015, 2016? Somewhere in there, you had all that talent. Derek Barnett, Alvin Kamara. I mean, just Lord, you were just. I mean, the guy was cleaning the toilet over here. It was brilliant. You wasted it. It was horrible. A lot of good Tennessee fans don't want to even talk about it. That's how I feel to this day about the 2008 Clemson football team. That was the very same season that Tommy Bowden was forced to resign, and a nobody named Dabo Swinney took over the team. We're just getting. I mean, it's one thing to lose to an Alabama team who was going to gain their first national championship with Nick Saban. It's another thing to lose to Wake Forest. You know, when you go back and you look at that talent, it just scratches your head. It makes you hurt. You have to get over it. But that is still really, really close to all of y'all. All that time that you had all that talent and it got wasted. So I feel you pain. A bunch of you in here saying, may their team. I ain't ignoring you. I just, you know, Lord, it's kind of like the dysentery. Once it starts, it starts. That's me once I start talking. But thank y'all for joining me. It's good to see y'all. Love you. It's good to see you. Clemson, Carson, George, talk to the Paul. Lord, there's a bunch of you in here. Let's jump in. Let's recap last season. Last season, your 2019 effort, you possibly had the worst start I have ever seen out of a Power 5 team. To only end up, listen to me, to only end up probably one of the most inspired football teams in all the country. Last year, you lost to Georgia State, beat BYU in overtime, lost to them, sorry, beat Chattanooga, got drilled by Florida, got drilled by Georgia, you beat Mississippi State, you got drilled by Alabama, and then after that, you won. I mean, what was you? You were 2-5. You ended up finishing up the season winning the Gator Bowl, going 8-5 and 5-3 overall. I mean, considering what happened and how embarrassing it was, it's a miracle. An absolute miracle. That you boys just didn't roll it up and just go, you know, I'm just done. Let's talk about who you're returning. This is Jeremy Pruitt's third year. So, and the recruiting class for next year is incredible. He's already got some good recruits coming in already. I'll play this year. He got a really good transfer with Cade Mays out of Georgia. So he was from that Knoxville area. It's between Georgia and Clemson, kind of Tennessee. Cade Mays goes and signs with Georgia. Some things really don't go so good for him, and now if the NCAA gives him a waiver, that'll be 4 5-star offensive linemen that Georgia or Tennessee will have across the front of the line. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. But let's talk about first of all who you're losing. Who you're losing is some big time names. No bigger than Jawan Jennings, wide receiver, Mr. Do It All. That guy right there won a bunch of games almost by himself. Whoever got him an NFL draft, I can't remember who it was, you just got a steal. Because I do remember he was taken late in the draft. All right? You got a steal. That guy right there can play football. He can play football. Well, another a player, to me, just totally underutilized, Marquez Callaway. That youngin, he can play, he can catch, he's a good punt returner. It was just dynamic. I don't like saying that word, but linebacker, I'm going to butcher this one, but y'all forgive me. Daniel Batuli, he's gone. He ain't there no more, all right? So, as I told you, I don't like to just sit here and talk about just read names off and everything else is boring. You don't read names off or you won't break down a footage and stuff like that. There's a ton of channels on here, a bunch of books. You go read them. I'm just going to give you the 30,000-foot view, throw some insults your way, maybe tell you that your baby's cute, and then I'm going to go home. All right? Or in this case, just turn off the camera. Jarrett Guarantano, if there is one guy who is, it's time for his chickens to come home to roost, it's now. Period. Just telling you. There is one, Jarrett, you have probably the best line standing in front of you that you've ever had, and one of the best lines in college football. You have 2 running backs in Ty Chandler and that Eric Gray. Eric Gray really came on last season. Just good Lord, that guy right there, he can play football. You have 2 good running backs. Granted, you lost those 2 wide receivers. But you still have the talent around you to come out and do some really good things. So, this year, and I'm going to say this, Guarantano's caught a lot of crap and a bunch of stuff, and I get it. He played for Butch Jones, he's been in this, it's been awful, it's horrible. Okay, I get it. Those days are now behind you. Did you learn from them? All right, now you have this good line in front of you. All right, you have that good running back behind you. You've got at least decent receivers there at Tennessee. They're at least decent, okay? Your line's going to take care of you. What are you going to do for your team? It's your last year. The whole thing, I want to play in the SEC. It is over. And once again, I go back to, I know that all the crap you went through, and Lord knows none of us would want to go through it. None of us. Butch Jones came up with more slogans than a marketing company. That's what he should have done, was went into marketing. People by the end of it was making fun of him because everything was a slogan, pest with excellence. Stuff like that. And he ended up just blowing away talent. We don't care about your slogans. Win. When you got talent, win. I don't care where you're coaching. Doo-Doo State, Red Hat Ladies, Blind Kids of Alabama. Where you're coaching, we don't care about your slogans. We don't really care how you do it. Just do it. As long as you ain't sacrificing babies to Satan, just win. That's it. So, Guarantano has been through the ringer. It's time to pull it together, buddy. By the way, if you don't, this is your last season, so eligibility tells you you're done. They got some backups at Brian Maurer, or however you say his name. He's in there. Got that Harrison Bailey out of Marietta, Georgia, who's coming in. There's a lot of talent there. Malachi Weidman from Venice, Florida. Jalen Hyatt, a wide receiver from Irmo, South Carolina. I'm telling you that these guys have the ability to come in and be an immediate impact. Period. Immediate. So, just as I said, don't want to run down a bunch of names. Just tell you the majority of the line. Brandon Kennedy, as I said, if Caden Mays can get his waiver, he's going to be doing great. On the defensive side, you did lose a lot of players, but you got guys like Henry Tua, or however the crap you say his name, Quavaris Crouch. You got Jalen McCullough, Bryce Thompson. You got guys who can play football. All right. You got guys who can play. You got a bunch of seniors across the front. You've got, in your secondary is full of juniors, okay? Starters and non-starters from last year. You have the ability to do it. Let's talk about your schedule, all right? Your schedule's not that easy. So first, you start off really easy. You start off with Charlotte. I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, if y'all lose to Charlotte, first of all, every one of you need to quit coaching, quit playing. You need to go burn down Neyland Stadium, and y'all need to get back to focusing on women's basketball. Just truth with you. You're not going to lose to Charlotte. I just don't see that. Very next game, you're at Norman, Oklahoma. Thing about Oklahoma is Oklahoma loves to play up-tempo football, and they're going to be fired up, and who's going to be the quarterback for them, really don't know, really don't care. They keep embarrassing themselves year after year in the playoffs. Yet the committee continues to use, I guess, puss to make the decision. They just have puss for brains. Keep putting them back in there. According to how your team is, most likely you're still going to lose to them, but maybe you can win that ball game. You got Furman. Okay, that's easier. Now we're looking at 2 wins about right there. Then you play Florida. Probably the best Florida team that's been there in quite a while. Okay? This is a year that Dan Mullen has a lot of people believing that he can win this thing and somehow possibly contend with the West. I won't go that far. Maybe contend, win it. I won't talk about you folks, Florida. All I'm just going to say is, whether you like it or not, you know what they have, and it's a lot of talent. There's a lot of talent. But it is, as I said on their preview, it's a piss or get off the pot year for Dan Mullen and his team. And you got the talent. If you can't do it now, you probably ain't going to do it, at least with you coaching. Next, so you got Florida. Tough game. If you come out a lot of emotion, play that game, your line's blocking good for you. Big thing is wide receivers are making plays. If your wide receivers coming out there, lining up wide receivers, they're running around, they're doing their thing, ball gets thrown to them, and it looks like an old person going, you're losing a lot of games this year. You get wide receivers come in there and shock the world and do your thing and not have lazy arms in a hurricane, you'll be fine. You play Missouri, ain't worried about that. If you get at South Carolina, Zay Meeks. I know Zay, I think I euthanized a cat for Zay one time. It was an orange Northwestern cat. I remember, mean as the devil. Reminds me of my mother-in-law. Yeah, I put that thing down. Zay, I'm glad you joined us here. He's a big volunteer fan. God be with you. If you play South Carolina, let me tell you right now, if Satan was playing South Carolina, I'd probably pull for the devil. I admit it. Admit it. I'll be pulling for y'all, but the truth is, I still think you're going to beat South Carolina. Bama, I'm going to spare my feelings on Bama. You're going to lose. At Arkansas. Arkansas hasn't been good since, like, I don't know. Three's Company was a really big, I don't know, TV show. Zay Meeks, everybody, just reached deep down in his pocket and somewhere around his knees just absolutely pulled out $2 and said, buy 2 ice-cold beers on me. Zay, there's a special place in heaven for you. Thank you. I will drink that beer with goodness and greatness and with the remembrance of you. Thank you, Zay. And yes, the great volunteer roadshow is in here. Bobby, it's good to see you. I'm glad you're in here. Hadn't talked to you in a while. I need to borrow your transfer truck for something. It's not contraband, but it could be. And you could get a nice little cut for it. Everybody, it's good to see you. Michael Fornbacher, my buddy from Las Vegas, he just came in here and reached down in his pocket, pulled out $2. Just thank you so much. It's good to see you, Michael. You good people. Good to see you. Zay's already about to get me some Tennessee whiskey. Won't stop you. Drink it right up. Michael Fornbacher, thank you so much, buddy. Glad you're back in here. So I'm going to get back to the schedule. Everybody, you know when people start talking to Bobby, Bobby's going to talk to people. You play Kentucky. Kentucky. There we go. Kentucky. Then at Georgia. Do we know what's going to happen there at Georgia? Do we really? That's a game you could really turn some heads. Zay Meeks, I got to stop again. Zay Meeks is giving more money. Zay, I believe I'm going to have to stop you. I'm going to have to stop you. We love you too, Zay. Zay is a good people. I know Zay. Yeah, Zay's good people right now. He's good people. He's making it rain here. I'm going to keep doing videos on Volunteer Roadshow. I'll pay my house payment for the month. Zay stays on here, but thank you, Zay. He says he's cutting it off. I don't blame you. If you asked me to take my shirt off, I was going to be done. Exactly how much money? Never mind. But thank you so much. Thank you so much. You're at Georgia. Big game for you. You can definitely do some big things like Georgia. You got Troy, and then you're at Vanderbilt. You know what to say about Vanderbilt. Heck of a surgeons. Horrible at football. I mean, my God. So, let me just go ahead and sum this up for me. And I know Volunteer Roadshow's saying he promises me that you're going 15-0, and you know, Bobby, I love you to death. But I just don't see it. Kind of hope most of it for you. Of course, I'd like for y'all to play us and we'll beat you. But, you know, I don't see 15-0. That is a really, really tough schedule. So let's just go ahead and Bobby's got to get off here and go in there and take my shirt off and remind my wife why she married me. You play Oklahoma. This is your big games, all right? Oklahoma, Florida, Bama, Georgia. That's tough. That's a tough schedule. That is a tough schedule considering that you're at Oklahoma, you're at Georgia. You do get Bama and Florida at home, all right? The key for you, and I'm going to lay this out there to you. The key for you, and this will show how your team can grow, and it's what Sweeney did with Clemson. Sweeney did with Clemson. Now, you got to remember, I know this video is a little longer than my most recent one, but I'm going to tell you this. When Tommy Bowden, and I think he was a good guy, I don't think he was a bad football coach. I just think that he just got tired of Clemson. I think he got tired at the job. He was done with it. He was ready to move on. But one week we would go, like in 2005, we'd go down to Coral Gables and beat number 4 Miami, and the very next week we'd go play at Duke in Durham, and we lost in overtime. That was the ups and downs. Let me tell you the markings of a good football team. You go ahead and you go etch this, and have this tattooed on your old lady's back. You win the games you're supposed to win. You win some of the toss-ups. You might win, you might lose. And you're competitive in the games you have no business being in. That's how you turn a team around, period. And that's exactly what Dabo Sweeney did. You have to remember, Sweeney's second full season, he was 6-7. I was calling for his head. Well, you didn't know, nor did you. Nobody knew he was going to be the way he was. But I'm going to tell you that if you go in, you beat Charlotte, you play very close with Oklahoma, might even beat them. You beat Furman, obviously. You play close with Florida. Zay says he thinks that y'all can beat them. You might come in there very fired up, beat them. It's at home. It's your first big game, especially if you come off of a win with Oklahoma. Oh, that changes everything. You beat Missouri. You've owned South Carolina in years they were good and you wasn't, and you still beat them. Play close with Bama. Beat Arkansas. Beat Kentucky. You could definitely run with Georgia. Troy and Vanderbilt. I agree with you, Roadshow. 9-3 was not be a bad thing. If you went 10-2, y'all need to extend that man's contract until the next decade. like immediately. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you. You need to do that. But it is a tough schedule. The key is will Guarantano pull it together? Will y'all use the really good running backs you got? And will somebody step up for Callaway and Jennings, who are now gone? On the defense, I see the talent there. Will you show up? Will it mature? Will you go and hit the field and not make dumb mistakes? Will you avoid injuries? In the ABCs of football, will you not turn over the football? All right, well, listen, thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's good to see there's some good people in here. Volunteer Roadshow, I miss you, buddy. We need to get on the phone. I was thinking about you the other day. Zay Meeks, good to see you. I hadn't seen you in a while. Talk to you, but I hadn't seen you in a while. It's good to see you. Be good. Thank you for it. For your donations here. Michael Fornbacher, thank you for your donations. Everybody else, talk to the Paul, Clemson Carson, Tiger Nate, everybody who's in here. I appreciate it. It's good to see y'all. Y'all take care of yourself. You stay safe. I'm Bobby Dirkens. You keep showing up. I'll keep showing out.